Chapter 2966. In the end, I won. The space was shattered, and the insect mother's body was turned into powder. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. It was worth his arrangement. He finally solved this guy. Looking at the huge body of the insect mother being shattered quickly, Lin Moyu knew that he had won this battle. As long as the insect mother died, those children should not survive. His promise to the three ancestors was also half completed. Soon, the scream of the insect mother weakened. Its body was more than half broken and it came to the end of its life. With the last scream, the insect mother finally stopped moving and seemed to have died. But Lin Moyu's eyes revealed a solemn look. His body changed and became hazy, like a mist, as if he did not exist. Switched from the Space Avenue true body to the Luck Avenue true body. In this state, he could find the existence and strength of luck. He looked at the insect mother with a solemn look. How could it be? The luck has not weakened. The luck is still there, which means that the insect mother is not dead. The eye of the dead opened, and two soul flames immediately appeared in sight. One soul flame had been seen before. It belonged to the soul flame of the Ice and Fire Grass, and it was also the soul clone of the leader of the 100 Herbs Alliance. The other soul flame, which had also been seen, was the soul flame of the Worm Mother. Now, the two soul flames were side by side. Lin Moyu immediately understood what was going on. The Worm Mother was not dead. Although its body was destroyed, its soul was not dead. As long as the soul was not dead, it would not be difficult to regenerate the body. The key was how the soul escaped the spatial strangulation. Under normal circumstances, it would not work. But there was a special thing in the Worm Mother's body, that is, the Ice and Fire Seed. The Ice and Fire Seed came from the sky and could be refined into a clone by the leader of the 100 Herbs Alliance. It showed that it was of a very high level. If it could survive the spatial strangulation, it would not be impossible. The space was finally completely broken, and the space surrounded by the sky-splitting killing formation became an area like a black hole. All directions were dark. In the center of darkness, a special seed floated there, intact. The power of the sky-splitting killing formation continued to fall on the seed, but the seed remained intact. It's really hard. Lin Moyu whispered. The hardness of the Ice and Fire Seed has exceeded his imagination. Except for the bodies of the extraterritorial gods and the gods' pets, Lin Moyu has never seen anything harder than it. No, there are two more, that is, the Shenzhou Ding and the Calamity Scepter. Lin Moyu had a thought, which is harder, the Calamity Scepter or the Ice and Fire Seed. In fact, when this thought came up, Moyu already had the answer in his heart. It must be the Calamity Scepter that is harder. The power of the sky-splitting killing formation continued to fall on the Ice and Fire Seed, but it could never cause any damage to the Ice and Fire Seed. The two soul flames stood side by side, like a pair of good brothers, shrinking in the seed. After thinking about it, Lin Moyu weakened the power of the sky-splitting killing formation. He wanted to go in himself and smashed the Ice and Fire Seed with the Calamity Scepter. He knew very well that only in this way could the insect mother be killed, and only in this way could the parasitic Dao Masters be saved. The Qian Avenue true body was transformed into the Space Avenue true body again, and when the sky-splitting killing array weakened to a certain extent, it could enter. Gradually, the power of the sky-splitting killing array weakened to 1/3 of its strongest state. At this time, the space began to recover. Although there were still dense space cracks in the space, as long as Lin Moyu was careful, it would be enough for him to pass. The sky-splitting killing array has one biggest disadvantage, which is that it will kill everything in the formation, including the person who set up the formation. This is an iron-faced and impartial formation that treats everyone equally. Just as Lin Moyu was about to act, a pair of tentacles suddenly stretched out from the Ice and Fire Seeds. The tentacles were like scissors, cutting a small piece of space in front of him, and the Ice and Fire Seeds immediately rushed in. The whole process was very fast, less than half a second, which caught Lin Moyu off guard. The next second, the ice and fire seeds appeared thousands of miles away. Lin Moyu used the eye of the dead to see that the soul flame belonging to the insect mother was much weaker. It had just opened the space to cut and escape, which caused great damage to its soul. Moreover, it failed to escape from this layer of space, but only teleported thousands of miles and escaped from the skysplitting killing formation. Lin Moyu knew that it did not have the ability to cut and shred space a second time in a short period of time. Lin Moyu immediately chased after it, and it would take only a few thousand miles to reach it. At this time, the ice and fire seeds burst into flames, and huge power gathered from the void in all directions. The flesh of the insect mother, which had just been destroyed, began to regenerate. The regeneration speed was very fast, and the countless parasites of the insect mother provided a powerful experience zone. When the insect mother regenerated, the leader of the Baichao alliance in the ice and fire seeds did not stop. It consumed soul power and burst out strong flames and ice. The collision of ice and fire formed a violent explosion, blocking the world and preventing anyone from getting close. Lin Moyu knew that it did this to buy time for the mother worm to recover. Once the mother worm recovered, the situation would return to the starting point, and all the efforts just made would be in vain. Even Lin Moyu was a little overwhelmed at this moment. The power of the leader of the Baichao alliance was very strong. Even if only the soul of the clone was left, it could still burst out with amazing power in a short period of time, making it difficult for him to get close. Suddenly, the continuous ice and fire explosions stopped. Even the recovery of the mother worm stopped. The power that was originally pouring in from the void also stopped at this moment. The mother worm lost its source of power, and its recovery stopped immediately. The mother worm was restless and kept making noises. Lin Moyu didn't know what happened, but it looked good anyway. This kind of opportunity might be fleeting, and Lin Moyu didn't have time to think at all. Lin Moyu rushed over in an instant, crossed hundreds of miles at the fastest speed, and grabbed the ice and fire seeds in his hand. Then he waved the scepter of natural disasters, like smashing a walnut, and smashed it heavily. Bang! With a slight sound, cracks appeared on the fire seed. Lin Moyu didn't think twice and hit it for the second time. With another slight sound, the ice and fire seed shattered on the spot. The two souls in the ice and fire seed were exposed to Lin Moyu at the same time. At this time, the soul gem on the Calamity Scepter was shining, generating a strong suction force. The two souls, without any resistance, were sucked away by the spirit, Li Ma's, soul gem. In a blink of an eye, the moon was bright and the wind was clear, and the war finally came to an end. Lin Moyu sensed that the mother's luck had completely dissipated, and he let out a long breath. In the end, I still won. In Shizhou, the headquarters of the Herb Alliance, there was an angry roar. Demon King, third ancestor, you dare to stop me. I will make you pay the price. Lin Moyu stood there, motionless. After the war, he had the leisure to think about the problem. What happened at the last moment was very strange. Why did the ice and fire seed suddenly stop resisting? Even the recovery of the mother stopped. Anything unusual has a root cause. After thinking for a while, Lin Moyu found that there was only one possibility. That is, the third ancestor took action. The third ancestor was in the outside world and disturbed China. Only in this way can it be explained. For the specific situation, you have to go back and ask the third ancestor to know. Chapter 2967, Ice and Fire Avenue Tree. Lin Moyu rested for a while and set off again. He remained alert. He realized that the leader of the Baichao alliance had been operating in the ice and fire secrets for many years, and he might have a backup plan. At the same time, he also understood that the ice and fire Dao stone was not so easy to obtain. Otherwise, with the ability of the Baichao alliance leader, he would have obtained the ice and fire Dao stone long ago. He would not have waited for so many years until the appearance of the ice and fire grass, and then used his clone to come in and obtain the ice and fire Dao stone. There must be many conditions to obtain the ice and fire Dao stone. If these conditions cannot be met, it will be difficult to obtain it. Lin Moyu relied on his own induction and went to the place where the ice and fire calendar was more intense. After walking for an unknown period of time and a long distance, he finally arrived at the destination. What he saw shocked Lin Moyu a little. He stood on the top of an iceberg and looked forward to the endless land. Above the land, tornadoes and storms penetrated the sky and the earth. Some of these tornadoes are made of pure ice, which is chilling, while others are made of flames, like dragons rising from the earth and rushing to the sky. In the flame storm, there are dark blue powders, which are the raw materials of the ice and fire stone that Lin Moyu guessed before. Its essence is the power of the flame avenue. The same is true in the ice storm, which has some transparent powders, the essence of which is the ice avenue. The two tornadoes of ice and fire rise from the 480 earth and rush straight to the infinite sky. In the sky, the power of the avenue is diffused, and the fog is thick. With the naked eye, you can't see the situation at the top of the sky at all. After entering this space, Lin Moyu did not fly. The reason is that the ice and fire grass did not fly, which made Lin Moyu intuitively think that flying in the air would be dangerous. But now, he had to go up and take a look. Of course, he didn't go there in person. The skeleton god will appear beside him and rush into the sky like a rocket. But before the skeleton god flew very high, a gust of wind came towards him, carrying the west of heavenly Tao in the wind. The pure ice avenue gave the wind color. A faint light green flew through the air. This pure avenue power was much purer than the avenue power of Han Jiuxingjun. The skeleton god was instantly frozen, and then fell from the air, shattered to pieces. The undead spirit lost its function, and faced with the invasion of the avenue power, the undead spirit was silent. The skeleton god was dead, and really dead. The sky is really dangerous. In the layer of space, the avenue power guards the sky. As long as you fly to a certain height, you will be attacked. I don't know where these tornadoes are going. Lin, BHDF, silently evolved the true body of the space avenue and began to sense the space. In his imagination, these tornadoes should go to another space. Then he just needs to find the connection point between the two spaces, and he can pass through. But after some sensing, Lin Moyu showed disappointment. He did not sense the corresponding space connection point. Lin Moyu's eyes were thoughtful. Without the space connection point, how can we enter the next army space? The leader of the Baichao alliance should know, otherwise the ice and fire grass would not come in this time. Besides it, there should be another guy who knows. I don't know if it works. Lin Moyu suddenly realized that he had missed a guy. He flipped his hand and took out a pile of fragments, which were the fragments of the ice and fire seeds. Although the ice and fire seeds were smashed and the souls hiding inside were sucked away by the soul gem, there were still some residual soul power in the fragments. The soul gem is very proud, and it has a fancy for these residual soul powers. Lin Moyu is now interested in these residual soul powers, and he wants to use the resurrection of the dead to try to revive the worm mother. It may not be useful, but you can try it. The worm mother has been here for countless years, and may know how to go next. The undead flames burned fiercely, wrapping these fragments. Lin Moyu immediately sensed that souls were gathering. But the current situation is different from before. Although souls are gathering again, the worm mother's body has not appeared. Judging from past experience, the resurrection of the dead has not succeeded. As for the other soul powers, they belong to the leader of the Baichao alliance. It is still alive and well, and it is even less likely to become a resurrected person. But the scene that happened next surprised Lin Moyu. The ice and fire seeds actually began to reorganize, and it became complete again. All the fragments were pieced together like a puzzle. The recovery of the ice and fire seeds caught Lin Moyu off guard. Lin Moyu thought about the magic of resurrection of the dead, and finally understood what was going on. Neither the insect mother or the residual soul of the leader of the Baichao alliance met the conditions for the resurrection of the dead. The recovery of the ice and fire seed shows that the ice and fire seed was once a living being. The seed is its body, but it was obtained by someone later and then refined. Before it was refined, or a long time ago, it was alive, so it can be resurrected under the effect of the resurrection of the dead. A seed became a resurrection, which made Lin Moyu laugh and cry. The ice and fire seed that became a resurrection again turned in a direction and aimed at Lin Moyu, trembling slightly. Lin Moyu asked curiously, "Are you conscious?" The voice of the resurrection sounded in his ears, "I am conscious." The voice was crisp, like a child. It is a seed, and it has not had time to sprout and grow. Even if it had life, it should have been very young. Lin Moyu asked, "What is your specific identity?" Although it has always been called ice and fire grass before, Lin Moyu does not know what its real name is. The ice and fire grass is just a name given by itself, and so is the ice and fire seed. The ice and fire seed said, "I am the ice and fire Dao seed, the seed of the ice and fire avenue tree." Lin Moyu has never heard of the ice and fire avenue tree. After its explanation, Lin Moyu then knew the origin of the ice and fire avenue tree. The ice and fire avenue tree is a special tree that grows on the avenue. To be precise, it is a tea tree. Its leaves can be used to make tea, and after drinking it, it can help people understand the ice and fire avenue. For those practitioners who practice both the ice and fire avenues at the same time, the leaves of the ice and fire avenue tree are the supreme treasure. As the seed of the ice and fire avenue tree, it has spirituality from the moment it became a seed. But later the spirituality was destroyed, and it became an ordinary ice and fire seed. The ice and fire seed was later obtained by the leader of the Baichao alliance and refined into its clone, becoming ice and fire. Unfortunately, the method of the leader of the Baichao alliance was relatively clumsy, and the refining method was not correct, and the characteristics of the seed could not be fully utilized. The ice and fire grass did not exert the power of the seed at all, otherwise it would not be refined to the level of the fifth realm of Dao Zun. During the refining process, the leader of the Baichao alliance integrated his soul into the seed, and also brought the corresponding memory. Although the soul is now absorbed by the soul gem, most of these memories remain in the seed. In Lin under Moyu's questioning, the ice and fire seed told Lin Moyu all these memories. Lin Moyu finally understood how to enter the space where the ice and fire Dao stone was. Chapter 2968 Even if you have to die, you can't die in the storm. There are only two ways to enter the space where the ice and fire Dao stone is located. One is to follow the tornado and enter the next space along the storm. The other way is to cut the space into pieces and then enter through the layers of space. However, there are many layers of space in this ice and fire secret collection. The space where the ice and fire Dao stone is located is hidden very deep. The worm mother has searched for it but has not found it. That layer of space should have some restrictions, and it cannot be entered without the correct method. So the leader of the Baichao alliance thought of a way to refine the ice and fire grass. Since the space cannot be found, the only thing to do is to follow the tornado. But following the tornado is very dangerous. The pure power of the great Tao is difficult for even the ice and fire grass to resist. But the leader of the Baichao alliance still thought of a way, which is to use the space ability of the worm mother to temporarily create a space channel to the center of the storm. It is safe in the center of the tornado, and there will be no power of the great Tao inside. But to do this, it requires enough powerful energy, and the worm mother alone cannot do it. So it parasitized countless Dao Zuns and used the power of these Dao Zuns to open the space channel. All these memories, along with the remnant soul of the leader of the Baichao alliance, were left in the clone. Although the remnant soul came, the memories still existed in the ice and fire seeds, and now they were obtained by Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu felt that it was difficult. Although he also understood the great Tao of space and could create space channels. But he was not as precise and powerful as the Worm Mother. If there was a mistake and he failed to enter the center of the space storm, he would be killed by the power of the great Tao in the storm. In this case, even if he had a newborn talent, it would be useless. As long as he was born, he would be killed again and again, and eventually he would die completely. Lin Moyu was not sure, he didn't want to gamble, this bet, 9 out of 10 times, he would not win. But he was a little unwilling to retreat. Not for the ice and fire Tao stone, but for the extraterritorial god. The extraterritorial god was very likely to be in the same space as the ice and fire Tao stone. Faced with this situation, Lin Moyu thought for a long time, but couldn't find the right way to get in. Unless he used the great Tao immortal pill, or he could pass through the storm and enter its distance. But this is the last resort. The great Tao immortal pill is very precious, and it is used to fight for one's life. It seems a bit wasteful to use it here. But if there is really no other way, it can only be used. Lin Moyu said to himself, how can I get in? The ice and fire seed suddenly said, Master, I have a way. Lin Moyu was slightly stunned, talk about it. Although it is the seed of the ice and fire avenue tree, it has an extraordinary origin, but it is just a seed after all. Lin Moyu can feel that its power is not strong, so how can it help him enter the tornado storm? The ice and fire seed said, I can become bigger and protect the master to go in, but my power is not enough, and I need a huge power. Lin Moyu thought of the ice and fire seed's body, which can be safe and sound even in front of the sky-splitting killing array. The body is indeed strong enough. Moreover, it originally lived in the ice and fire avenue, and it has enough resistance to the power of the ice and fire avenue. What it lacks is only power. If in the past, there were adult ice and fire avenue trees to provide it with power, so that it could germinate in the avenue until it could grow independently. Now, only Lin Moyu can provide power. Lin Moyu said, what do you want? Ice and fire seed said, I can absorb all kinds of power, the power of the spirit vein, the power of the origin crystal, the power of the avenue, all are fine. Lin Moyu thought about it, can the origin crystal be used? Are the 7th order origin crystals enough? Ice and fire seed said, as long as the quantity is sufficient, there will be no problem. Quantity, Lin Moyu has nothing else, but the origin crystals are definitely enough. He still has thousands of 7th order origin crystals, which should be enough. Lin Moyu thinks he can give it a try. If it doesn't work, then he can use the great Tao immortal pill. Lin Moyu jumped down from the top of the mountain and entered a world full of ice and fire storms. It's hot and cold here, and the alternation of hot and cold is enough to kill ordinary first-level Dao Zun. If a Tianzun comes here, almost as many will die. Lin Moyu unfolds the power of the great Tao, with golden light and flames on his body, and the immortal golden body is also turned to the maximum, and walks through this area. Occasionally, there will be great Tao fire and great Tao ice coming here. Lin Moyu must be extremely careful and not come into contact with them. With his current strength, he only needs a wisp of great Tao fire or great Tao ice to kill himself. Lin Moyu came to the nearest tornado at an extremely slow speed. This is an ice tornado. In the transparent storm, some transparent powder was rolled up and rushed straight to the sky. In the storm, there are occasionally wisps of light green power flowing, which is pure avenue ice, and the temperature is already extremely low. Thousands of meters away from the storm, Lin Moyu stopped and said to the ice and fire seed, it's up to you. The ice and fire seed flew out from his palm and instantly grew larger, becoming 3 meters high. The ice and fire seed cracked from the middle, revealing a space. After Lin Moyu came in, the ice and fire seed closed again. Lin Moyu stayed in the space, and the picture in front of him became transparent. He saw the situation outside through the ice and fire seed. At this time, a light green avenue ice just fell on the ice and fire seed. The ice and fire seed trembled, but was not frozen. Lin Moyu could feel that the power of the ice and fire seed was declining sharply. The ice and fire seed said, "Master, I need to replenish my strength." Lin Moyu immediately took out a bunch of exquisite 7th-level origin crystals. There were hundreds of them. Just use them. The ice and fire seed began to absorb the power of the origin crystals and began to replenish itself. The breath of the ice and fire seed quickly recovered and stopped vibrating. Lin Moyu could feel that the power of the ice and fire seed was rapidly increasing. A few seconds later, the ice and fire seed said, "Master, I'm going to leave." Lin Moyu nodded, "Go." When he said this, Lin Moyu had already prepared the Tao Immortal Pill. If the ice and fire seed couldn't hold on, he would take the Tao Immortal Pill as soon as possible. Even if he was going to die, he couldn't die in the ice and fire storm. Once he died in the storm, he was really dead. If he died somewhere else, he would have a chance to revive with his new talent. As long as he could live, there was still a way. The ice and fire seed rushed into the storm without hesitation, and the whole world suddenly began to spin rapidly. The speed of the storm's rotation was much faster than what was seen outside, so fast that the picture was almost blurred. Boom, boom, boom. The collision sound continued to come, and the ice and fire seeds and those transparent powders were surging. The transparent powder also contains the pure power of the Great Tao, which is not weak. The fire seed is constantly vibrating in the collision. The power of the origin crystal is being quickly absorbed. In a blink of an eye, several origin crystals have been broken because of the exhaustion of power. This is a 7th-level origin crystal, which contains powerful power, but it is so unusable. From this, it can be seen how terrible the power consumed by the ice and fire seeds is. Fortunately, it was born in the ice and fire avenue and has a strong resistance to the ice and fire avenue. From this, it can be seen that even the leader of the Baichao Alliance does not really know how to really use the ice and fire seeds. Lin Moyu took out some 7th-level origin crystals in case of emergency. The ice and fire seeds took Lin Moyu and rose higher and higher in the storm, rushing towards the sky. Chapter 2969 The helplessness of the former Tao realm. The roar continued, and the ice and fire seeds were shaking non-stop. In the storm, waves of powerful forces kept hitting the ice and fire seeds. Fortunately, the ice and fire seeds have a strong resistance to the power of the Great Tao. In addition, Lin Moyu provided enough origin crystals, so that the ice and fire seeds were safe and sound in the storm filled with the power of the Great Tao. Lin Moyu, who was in it, felt the terrible power of the Great Tao. This kind of power, and even a little bit, is enough to kill him thousands of times. It's not just powerful, but the difference in level. This leads to the fact that even if there are more undead legions, they will be useless at this moment. From this, it can be inferred that when facing a real strong man in the Great Tao realm, no means will be useful. Lin Moyu re-estimated the strength of the 3 ancestors and others. These strong men in the Great Tao realm are hidden in the origin continent. If they take action, those Tao Zun 9 realms, 983, on the origin continent will not be a big deal. And the leader of the Baichao Alliance is also at the same level as the 3 ancestors. If the other party is really shameless and personally kills him, will his so-called trump card really work? At this moment, Lin Moyu lost confidence. He was not sure whether his various means and trump cards could save his life in front of the strong man in the Tao realm. It is difficult to kill him in return, almost impossible. Lin Moyu only thought about insurance. In Lin Moyu's wild thoughts, the ice and fire seeds were swept by the storm, rushed to the sky, and rushed into the fog. Looking down from a high place, his vision changed, and he could see the whole land clearly. In this layer of space, there are three historical areas intertwined with each other. These three forces have reached the level of the Tao, namely the Flame Avenue, the Ice Avenue, and a Green Avenue full of vitality. Needless to say, the Green Avenue belongs to the leader of the Baichao Alliance. He has been operating here for countless years, using the insect mother to penetrate his own power into his ministers. It has already affected this layer of space. As long as it continues, perhaps it can follow this layer of space and enter the area where the Ice and Fire Tao Stone is located. Multi-pronged approach, do it at the same time. It seems that the leader is also a cautious person, and will not put all his eggs in one basket. Insect Mother, Ice and Fire Grass, and using his own power to influence the secret treasure. All kinds of means, as long as one of them succeeds, he will make a profit. It can be seen that he attaches great importance to the Ice and Fire Tao Stone. Obviously, the Ice and Fire Tao Stone is very important. But what is the use of the Ice and Fire Tao Stone? Lin Moyu still knows nothing about it. Lin Moyu suddenly asked, "Little guy, do you know the Water and Fire Tao Stone?" Lin Moyu called the Ice and Fire Seed the little guy. After all, this guy's spirituality was born when it encountered an accident and its spirituality was annihilated. Now that it has become its own resurrection, it can be restored. In fact, when it lived, it was really short. The Ice and Fire Seed answered truthfully, "I'm not very clear, but in its memory, the Fire Tao Stone is very important." Lin Moyu was a little helpless. It seemed that he had to ask the third ancestor about this question as well. However, with the third ancestor's character, he might not tell him. The Ice and Fire Seed flew higher and higher, and arrived at an altitude of 100,000 meters, and finally saw the end of the storm. At the end of the storm, there were huge whirlpools. The whirlpools slowly turned, like the greedy mouth of a giant beast, sucking all the storms in. The Ice and Fire Seeds took Lin Moyu and drilled into the whirlpool along the storm. The vision in front of him became blurred, the rotation speed increased sharply, and a strong sense of weightlessness came. Lin Moyu knew that he was traveling through space. The process of transmission was a bit long, which meant that this layer of space was very far away. After a while, Lin Moyu felt that the Ice and Fire Seeds were getting less and less impacted, and the power of the avenue began to weaken. Almost there. Lin Moyu was alert. He didn't know what the space he had arrived at looked like, and whether there was any danger. Has the means of the leader of the Baichao Alliance been completely disintegrated, or are there still remnants? Will he be waiting for him in that heavy space? Everything is unknown. All Lin Moyu can do is to stay alert. A ball of light suddenly appeared in front of him, and the light suddenly enlarged in his sight. The Ice and Fire Seeds rushed into the light at an astonishing speed. After his sight was restored, Lin Moyu saw the situation in front of him clearly, and with it came a strong and incomparable feeling of disgust. He saw an extraterritorial god, who was also looking at him with cold, cruel and bloodthirsty eyes. This was the first time that Lin Moyu really looked into the eyes of an extraterritorial god. The extraterritorial gods he had met before were all in a coma. The extraterritorial god here was not in a coma, and was looking at him coldly. Lin Moyu could feel the murderous intent in his eyes, as well as strong disgust. Just as he hated him, he also hated himself. Driven by the great Tao, there is only hatred between the creatures in the origin continent and the gods from outside the domain, and there is no compromise. Kill, kill, kill. In the dark, Lin Moyu seemed to hear the voice of the great Tao. The great Tao was telling him that he must kill the other party. He must try every possible means, even if it means both of them perish together, he must kill the other party. This is the order given by the great Tao. If you dare to disobey, you will be punished. The punishment will be very heavy, the realm will fall, the body will die, anything is possible. Lin Moyu finally understood how aggrieved the powerful man in the great Tao realm of the Golden Thunder realm was at that time. He must have received the order of the great Tao, and even if he was reluctant, he had to fight to the death with the gods from outside the domain. Lin Moyu realized that he was trapped in a desperate situation. If he could not kill the other party, even if the gods from outside the domain did not kill him, the great Tao would not let him go. The great Tao would not accept any excuses. Simply put, the great Tao only looks at the results. Why is this happening? It is said that the Tao is impartial, but here, the Tao is obviously very selfish. What exactly is the extraterritorial god, and why does the Tao hate him so much? Lin Moyu took a deep breath, he left the ice and fire seed, and looked around. The outer god was just 100,000 meters away, staring at him. However, Lin Moyu was not worried. Although the outer god was awake, it was sealed and could not move. It was sealed by a formation. This formation was extremely complex. Among the formations that Lin Moyu had seen, only the super 9th level formation at the bottom of the boundary sea could be compared with it. The most important thing is that all the nodes and materials of this formation are a kind of stone containing 2 power of ice and fire. Ice and fire Tao stone. Lin Moyu took a deep breath. There are not just one ice and fire Tao stone here, but many. The ice and fire Tao stone that the 3 ancestors asked for but could not get is here in the tens of thousands, which is amazing. However, no matter how many there are, Mo Moyu has no intention of touching them. These ice and fire Tao stones are the nodes that make up the formation. Each node has at least 1 ice and fire Tao stone, and at most 3. Lin Moyu could feel that the ice and fire Tao stone contained a powerful Tao power. Not only powerful, but also pure. The powerful and pure power of the ice and fire Tao stone made the power of the ice and fire Tao stone extremely powerful. Then using it as a formation material, the power of this formation is unimaginable. The outer god suddenly roared, and the roar turned into countless sharp arrows, bombarding Lin Moyu. Chapter 2970 How to Kill This Outer Heavenly God. Lin Moyu never let down his guard. As soon as the outer god made a move, Lin Moyu retreated away immediately. He knew very well that the outer god was too strong, comparable to the Tao realm. Especially the outer god in front of him, who might be stronger than the average Tao realm. A distance of 100,000 meters was too close for it. Even if this formation firmly controlled it, Lin Moyu still felt dangerous. Sure enough, the outer god could still launch an attack. Fortunately, Lin Moyu retreated fast enough, and the outer god's attack was under control. The sharp arrow transformed by the sound passed through the original position of Lin Moyu, flew into the sky and exploded. The terrifying sound wave was far more terrifying than thunder, and it turned into a shock wave that swept all over the field. Lin Moyu was shocked by the sound wave and retreated. He was horrified in his heart and whispered unconsciously, "So powerful." This kind of power was beyond imagination. The sound wave alone could shock him thousands of meters away. Moreover, Lin Moyu could see that because the formation controlled him, he could not lock onto him. Otherwise, he might not be able to avoid the arrow just now. The outer heavenly god suddenly launched an attack, and then the formation composed of ice and fire Tao stones was activated. 2 giant dragons appeared in the formation, 1 ice dragon and 1 fire dragon. The 2 giant dragons spewed out flames and ice respectively, and fell on the outer heavenly god. Half of the outer heavenly god's body was burned by flames, and the other half was frozen. The collision of ice and fire suddenly caused a violent explosion, and the outer heavenly god was blown up and screamed. The power of this kind of great Tao-level ice and fire was so strong that Lin Moyu felt that he would be dead if there was a little aftermath. However, the outer heavenly god could feel pain but not be injured in this explosion, which was simply terrifying. The outer heavenly god seemed to know that he could not kill Lin Moyu. He stared at Lin Moyu with endless killing intent in his eyes. Occasionally, he would let out a roar like a beast. Lin Moyu knew very well that the people of the origin continent and the outer heavenly gods could not communicate at all. This was no longer a matter of language barriers, but a lack of communication at the level of the great Tao. No matter what sound or words the outer heavenly gods made, they sounded like the roar of a wild beast in his ears. And no matter what he said, it was the same in the ears of the outer heavenly gods. This also cut off the possibility of communication between the two sides from the root. Lin Moyu did not approach, but retreated another 100,000 meters and observed from afar. Not only did he observe the outer heavenly gods, he also observed the formation composed of the ice and fire Tao stones. This formation was very powerful and also very complex. However, no matter how complex and powerful the formation was, there was a source to be found. Lin Moyu discovered that the power of the ice and fire Tao stones would be gradually consumed when suppressing the outer heavenly gods. And the dark blue and transparent powders sucked in from the other two spaces could replenish the power zone of the ice and fire Tao stones. In this way, the formation composed of the ice and fire Tao stones could continue to operate, no matter how many years it took. Otherwise, the power of the formation will always be exhausted after a long time. This reminded Lin Moyu of the seal at the bottom of the boundary sea, and the source of the power of the seal was the boundary sea. The pressure in the depths of the boundary sea, the terrifying power everywhere, were actually replenishing the consumption of the formation. After observing for half a day, Lin Moyu finally shifted his attention away from the formation. He realized that this formation was too perfect, too powerful, far beyond his current formation level. Although he could understand most of it, he could only understand it. Just like the origin conversion formation in the Hurricane warship, he could understand it, but he could not replicate the arrangement, let alone disassemble it. This is because the formation realm is not yet reached, and the understanding of the formation and the human way is not yet reached. Perhaps one day, when he has a deep enough understanding of the Tao, the formation has entered a new level, and he will be able to integrate it. Now, Lin Moyu can't find the flaw in the ice and fire formation in front of him, let alone dismantle the formation to obtain the ice and fire stone. If you want to get the ice and fire stone, the only way is to kill the outer god. Once the outer god dies, this formation will lose its effect, and then he may get the ice and fire stone. In fact, Lin Moyu didn't want the ice and fire stone at first, but now his mind has changed. The leader of the Baichao Alliance and the three ancestors both want the ice and fire stone, which shows that the ice and fire stone must have magical effects. In this case, Lin Moyu will start to plan how to kill the outer god and get the ice and fire stone. This outer god is controlled by the formation, but it is still difficult to deal with. Just the attack just now, I can't stand it. Just now, I was 100,000 meters away from him. If the distance was only 10,000 meters, I would definitely not be able to dodge. Facing such a powerful outer god, Lin Moyu felt that it was difficult to kill. Lin Moyu said to the ice and fire seed, "Little guy, can you withstand that guy's attack?" The ice and fire seed said honestly, "I don't know. I have to try to know." Lin Moyu said, "Then try it." As a resurrected being, the fire seed would never disobey Lin Moyu's orders. Lin Moyu gave it a 7th level origin crystal, and the ice and fire seed immediately flew over and headed straight for the outer heavenly god. The outer heavenly god looked at the ice and fire seed coming towards him, as if he was very disdainful, and then roared. The roar turned into a sharp arrow, accurately landing on the ice and fire seed. Boom! Like a loud bell ringing, the ice and fire seed was shaken away. But it only flew a few hundred meters and stopped. Although the ice and fire seed was shaking violently, there was no scar on it. It can be blocked. Lin Moyu was happy in his heart, and he saw the whole process. As long as the ice and fire seed can block it, then his plan to kill the outer heavenly god will be half realized. Lin Moyu realized the movement, fly behind him and take a look. The ice and fire seed did not hesitate and immediately flew behind the outer heavenly god. As soon as it came behind the outer heavenly god, a pair of wings of the outer heavenly god suddenly vibrated. In an instant, Lin Moyu seemed to see countless pairs of wings, rolling up a huge wind. 530 countless winds shot out from the wind, densely bombarding the ice and fire seed. The ice and fire seed was blown away again. The whole process was very fast, less than a second, and the outer heavenly god seemed to have done something insignificant. He didn't take the ice and fire seed seriously at all. Lin Moyu gave the ice and fire seed an order again, letting the ice and fire seed approach the outer heavenly god from different directions. The outer god was locked there by the formation, unable to move. The best experimental subject. No matter which direction the ice and fire seed approaches the outer god, it will be attacked by the outer god. Although it cannot move, it can manipulate the huge power between heaven and earth to attack the enemy. But this method also has a price. The price is to be punished by the formation. The formation exploded one after another, and the ice and fire dragon reappeared, spewing ice and fire on the outer god. The outer god was covered by powerful explosions, but it was in pain but not hurt, and continued to attack the ice and fire seed. After a series of experiments, the results surprised Lin Moyu. Approaching the outer god from behind turned out to be the most dangerous method. The outer god's pair of wings can burst out infinite wind, and each wind is not Lin Moyu could resist. The safest way was to approach the outer god from the front. The outer god's attack method was very simple, only sound wave attack. If you approached from the side, you would also be attacked by him. Fortunately, the ice and fire seed was hard enough and was not damaged, so there was some room for maneuver.